Yo, it's your boy Castle World with the Silent A podcast. And man, we're back with another one. And a quick one at that. Hit that like, comment below. Subscribe if you got some time, man. We appreciate that love. And for this, it's going to be a quick video, quick take on, the takeover, the arrival of Mr. Devin, the Dream Haney, as many are calling it, the rival of Mr. Debo, Mr. Debo himself, and the likes of Devin Dream Haney. We're here to cover that real quick. A recap of what happened over this past weekend. Devin Dream Haney put in work, but then more importantly, let's talk about quickly what happened to the likes of David Benavidez, Anthony Yard, but more importantly, let's get to the fact that Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez ducking the likes of Opetaia officially here, ducking this man for the likes of David Benavidez. Now, shout out to him, Roja, the Mexican monster himself, for getting himself a great fight. But we can't help but to ignore the likes that Roberto Zuro Ramirez is chomping at the bit to take on the smaller fighter in David Benavidez. But it is what it is. Here we are. Let's talk about it. Let's rock out for today. Let's get a second, get some more folks up in here. We definitely appreciate that love. Hit that like button, is free. Hit that like button, is free. Comment and below. Subscribe if you got the time, and we always appreciate that love. Appreciate that love. We're going quick, we're going fast. And for this, just a quick coverage, quick breakdown. We're going to try to get back to doing more of these live takes, live breakdowns. Obviously, we've been doing a lot of fight chats. We continue to do that. We do a lot of commentary when the fights come around. But more importantly, we're going to get back to doing standalone lives, multiple topics, especially some of those that we just don't want to sit down and do a full-blown video for, or we just want to shoot the crowd with you and talk about random topics, you name it. We're down for that. So either way, hit that like button, it's free, comment below, and subscribe if you got the time. We appreciate that love. And for this, let's get straight into it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time today. Cue me up. Debo dies. Debo dead, as they call him. Which we still good there. Devin the Dream Haney. Devin the Dream Haney, in my personal opinion, switch over. In my personal opinion, stands the best chance out of the people I'm seeing in the 147-pound division to take over the division, as we said. The takeover from Devin Dream Haney. This is his time. This is his time to shine. He stands the best chance, again, in our personal opinion, not just because of what he did. Again, not what he just did to Brian Norman Jr., but more importantly, the characteristic that he displayed, not in just the Brian Norman Jr. fight, but in the fights that he's been having as of late since that Ryan Garcia fight. What do we mean by this? For this Brian Norman Jr. fight, a lot of us focus in on power, speed, reach, height, the physical attributes. But the one thing that gets left out constantly gets left out of consideration for the fights and consideration of who can do what in the division and take over, right? I mean, obviously, you do have to have some physical attributes. You do have to have a little bit of power. You have to have skills, right? Skills pay the bills. But one of those main characteristics that always gets left out is the mentality, the mental awareness and the mental fortitude of a fighter. What do we mean by that? The ability to stick to the damn game plan and execute is a key characteristic and a key attribute that a lot of fighters in today's time miss. And It's one of the heavy attributes that actually makes a good fighter great. Yeah, there's some naturally born talent, right? There's some guys that just got natural gifted power. There's some guys out there that's got natural speed. The guys that can throw a nice hook a certain way. Guys that just get it with length and reach. You name it, good foot speed. But then there's some guys out there just born brilliant, born understanding the game. And when you combine that with physical attributes, that separates you from the other men. All your great fighters, if you look at them, majority of the time, those great fighters were small fighters in the ring, dedicated to the sport, dedicated to the brand of boxing, dedicated to the business of boxing and growing themselves. In this case of Devin the Dream Haney, aka Mr. D, as they're calling him, he is displaying that ability. In the Brian Owen Jr. fight, this man had an opportunity to potentially take Brian Owen Jr. in the second round, headed in maybe that third round. If he wanted to put his foot on the gas and take some risk, he might have a chance to really stop Brian. Brian was a little shook, confidence was a little low. He got dropped and dropped clean by a guy that was moving up. And the confidence kind of go out the window. It was at that moment that a lot of people, especially fans, were pushing like, "Yeah, go get him, go get him, go get him, go get him out of there." Got him hurt, got him shook. But this is where the mentality sinks in. Devin sat back, listened to the instruction in his corner. They said, "Take your time. If it opens up, it opens up. But take your time. We here with a game plan. Box small, be a boxer puncher. Don't go for broke." And guess what? Devin listened to said instruction and executed the game plan beautifully and boxed to a clear, unanimous decision victory. It should have been wider than 115, 113, like one of the cards had. But hey, it is what it is. It's boxing. People see what they want to see. But with that said, Devin stuck to the game plan and got a clear decision victory and dominated Brian, in my opinion, throughout the rest of the fight. Why am I picking up on that? Because a lot of people say, well, that's boring. He could have just went and got him out. But a wounded fighter is one of the most dangerous fighters in the ring, especially one that's got a good hook, counter punch at that, and one that's got decent power. See, what Devin Dream Haney could have did is walked himself into a counter shot that could have got him dropped, and his confidence shook in that fight, or worse, got him knocked out. See, when you think you see something in that ring, fighters do it all the time. And sometimes it is to their benefit, but once they see something in that ring, they'll go for that blood, that natural instinct. They are fighters, right? This is why we pay to watch them fight. They are who they are. But controlling that instinct is a characteristic that is, to me, undervalued. And the fact that Devin Dream Haney stayed back from that and could have got caught from a counter shot from the likes of Brian Pillman Jr. that could have put him out and deterred this fight really means something about his characteristics and his dedication to the game plan. And shout out to his corner for coming up with a great game plan and multiple options to win this fight. See, they studied Brian. That's a difference. See, Brian and him overlooked Devin. They thought he was small. They thought he had no power. He's moving up. He's over his head. Whereas Devin and Dream Haney and his team broke down every bit of this fight, left no stone unturned, and more importantly, gave Devin multiple options to win this fight, and more importantly, Devin stuck to the game plan and executed it beautifully. Just for that reason, I can see this young man, this young brother, taking over the division because he listens to instruction. So you can have all the talent in the world and not listen to instruction, not listen to the game plan, and more importantly, not be able to execute what they're being taught. See, it's 80% mental, 20% physical. The great fighters in this league, in this division, become great because they're able to mentally understand what it takes to be a warrior and to be dedicated to the sport and execute a game, right? They understand what instructions are being told in that court. They're not flustered by the crowd. They're not flustered by a bad situation. That mental fortitude, that focus, is what keeping them grounded. If you don't have that, you can get lost in a fight and truly just dependent on your natural attributes. And those fighters that are just dependent on their physical abilities, those gifts that they were given, those guys that have the super speed or the ultra, super power, you name it, the guys who just dependent on physical attributes to win a fight, 9 times out of 10 will get beat by the smarter boxer who has good skill set. Maybe not as good as them athletically, will eventually get beaten, get stopped in some cases by a guy who stuck to the strategy, executed the game plan, fought through the fog of confusion, and saw the fight. It's those kind of guys that become great. And that's why Devin and Haney pushing his career. Salute to that man, salute to his team for making it there. So why do I see him as a takeover, right? Let's get to it. I see this as a takeover like the Devin Haney simply because of this. Again, we hit on it, the physical ability and his mental awareness. The guy stays in shape. Stand him out of this world. He was never tired in that fight. He took hands, not abundance, not like a Williams Opetaia or a David Benavidez or nothing like that, but he stuck to a steady, consistent pace for Money Mayweather. I hate to compare them because I know a lot of people are, but it is what it is. He is copying the Floyd Money Mayweather blueprint. You stay dedicated to the craft, stay dedicated to your body, making sure you're physically ready to go, take on anybody, any time around that ring, and more importantly, all your energy towards the end of the fight. See, fatigue makes cowards of all men, and fatigue is one of the biggest, destroyers of people's careers. It's the main thing that takes your career away. It's the main thing that gets you a loss in a tough fight, close fight, especially when your attributes, your natural physical gifts can't get you through there. That power fails you. You run into somebody with a chance, and you tired towards the end of the fight, and you get stopped or lackluster performance or lack of output, you would lost the call. See, a guy like Devin, physically gifted in the fact that he can, keep his stamina going, keep his hands moving, and stay mentally aware of what's going on in the ring, pushing further and further. And on that mentality, being able to understand the game plan and being able to be dedicated to the game plan and execute is key. Listening to instructions is key. You have a team for a reason. Yes, it's one man in that ring. It's one on one, but the preparation becomes a team strategy. The guys who take it to the next level are the ones who are able to listen to instructions and execute the game plan. Now, sometimes there will be a difference in what the fighter sees in another fighter ring and what the corner can see from their advantage point. And sometimes you do have to filter that out and understand what you're seeing in that fight. Sometimes go for that blood, and that's a call. The majority of the time, your corner, a good corner anyways, is right with what they're seeing. They're trying to tell you what to do, how to set up this fight, how to set up your punches, how to manage this. You're seeing from a third party, you're seeing from that outside omnious view that here's what that fighter's trying to do to set you up. Here's what you need to do to stay on player. Here's what you need to do to get your offense off of your defense. I see a guy like Devin with his physical abilities, primarily the physical stamina and ability to move, and that powerful, good jab. He has good, strong jab, one of the best jabs in the business. I see that taking him forward. A guy like, if Ryan Garcia beats the likes of Mario Barrios, he should be a good test, a good fight. I see a guy like Ryan Garcia, especially, with that history and drug cheating accusations, beating a man like Ryan Garcia. I'm sorry, beating a man like Devin and Haney. A guy like that, if you watch back, you look back at that fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. I know a lot of people give Devin crap for getting knocked down 4 times in that fight. Failed to overlook was Devin knocked up 4 times. He got back up each and every time he got dropped. Why? Because he had, and if you look outside of the rounds that he got dropped in, he was winning every round. That's why so he was out boxing and beating. See, he didn't have to get knocked down. Most men would have gave up. Most men would have threw the damn game plan out the window because they're trying to get some get back and stuff to instruct. He was winning those rounds that he didn't get knocked down. And if he was winning the rounds he actually got knocked down in, knocked down, Ryan Garcia wouldn't have much. We have to throw that out the window because we don't know how much I mean, Ryan Garcia's left hook, that speed that he had. But with that said, I don't see Ryan beating Devin Dream Haney in a rematch. Why? When they fought the first time, Devin and his team were going into a boxing match, which respectfully they were fighting for 140 pound division for Devin strap. But what they failed to realize was Ryan Garcia wasn't coming for a boxing match, he was coming for a fight. He purposely blew weight to be healthy as he could because he wanted to do so much. He wanted to be healthy. He just wanted to win the fight. He didn't care about the boxing match. He didn't care about the the glory of a belt. He didn't care about none of that. All Ryan Garcia cared about was winning a fight. So he came in prepared to win a fight. Now, fool me once, shame on me, but you won't fool me twice. And I think that's what Devin Haney is hoping. They're going to come better prepared for a fight. They won't drain themselves down if they don't have to, which they did for their 140-pound limit. They're all worried about making weight and making side bets where they drain themselves to make the weight. And this man came in ready to go 100%. In the next fight, if Ryan Garcia beats Mario Barta, they're going to come better prepared for an actual fight and be better tuned in and come with a better strategy. I think that would be physically stronger than what he was at 147. At 147. I don't think Ryan Garcia has too much answer for him. And more importantly, I think the defense will be on point for that left hook. He'll be physically sharp. He'll be mentally aware of what's going on. And I think the boxers will clean unanimous decision victory against Ryan Garcia. Now, with him out the way, let's say Mario Barrios. Let's say Mario Barrios beats Ryan Garcia. It's going to be tough because the one thing Ryan does have against Mario Barrios is that speed. Speed is king. Speed is everything. And Mario Barrios has a terrible time with guys who can punch fast, specifically the European hook. He keeps a certain tight little guard, and really he just doesn't get his head off the line, and he's susceptible to those shots. I think the proper jab and the left hook, it's going to be a long night for Mario Barrios. Ryan Garcia will dog him to a clear decision victory, maybe a late TKO stop. That's only if Mario Barrios doesn't improve his energy and stop being so lackluster. He's been kind of down on the last few fights. I thought he lost to Manny Pacquiao. I love Mario Barrios, by the way. As a big supporter, but he lost to Pacquiao because he went gassing up. But either way, called it a draw. Here we go. Mario Barrios can afford that same type of performance. You were lackluster against a 47-year-old veteran. A 47-year-old veteran who really shouldn't have been outplaying you in that fight. You were the younger champ. You're the younger fighter. You're the current champ. Should have walked out there and showed that veteran what it means to come back to the sport of boxing, and there's no mercy. But either way, here we are. So if Mario Barrios was to win this fight, I think he has to make it inside dirty, meaning not illegal, but just rough like Ryan Garcia, showing that you are a 247-pound guy and that you're not here to roll over. I think proper body work, because not a lot of guys attack the body of Ryan Garcia. Gervonta Davis showed you what could happen if you attack the body of Ryan. Yes, Ryan was reported quote unquote injured with the ribs that fight, but I still think Ryan's body is susceptible to damage and susceptible to being weak. And if you attack the body on the inside, Mario Barrios will take that fight. So let's fast forward. Let's say Mario Barrios does take that fight. And if he does, I think it'll be by decision victory as well. I can't see Mario Barrios knocking out Ryan, but either way, you and Devin now get it on. There's no answer there. Barrios' feet too slow. Energy's not that high. Decent power though. He's dropped pretty much everybody he's fought, and that could happen. But we've seen what happened to Devin Haney. It takes a nail and a sledgehammer to hold him to the canvas. Chinny, if you want to call him that, but the brother's got heart. He gets right back up. I believe the jab from Devin Haney will destroy Mario Barrios. Again, he cannot get his head off the line to save himself. Improper footwork and placement at angles, I think Devin Haney will box circles around Mario Barrios. Hence, the better fight would be the Ryan Garcia rematch. And again, I see Devin Haney coming better prepared for that fight and leaving no stone unturned to box the experienced and decision victory. Why the takeover? Because the remaining champs and the likes of Rolando Romero, I don't really have an answer for Devin. I think Rolando does have some good pop, some good power, and seems a good puncher's chance to beat Devin, but it takes more than that to be the guy whose team is mentally prepared and a guy who's dedicated to the sport and dedicated to the game plan, like we said. That is a key characteristic. When a guy is dedicated to the game plan of execution, he's a tough man to beat on any given night. You're not going to trick him into something. He's going to stay dedicated. He's going to box. He's going to box smart. If he sees an opening, he's going to take it. Rolando Romero, to me, isn't the smartest fighter out there. That's no disrespect. He's got good pop, good power. He's a physically strong young man. But it takes more than that, like we said earlier. Athletic gifts aren't enough to be a great fighter. I see Rolando Romero get picked apart again. This is a victory in the hands of Devin Haney. And to be honest, out of all the people we just mentioned, I think Romero is the one that actually can get knocked out by Devin Haney, who is not a known power puncher. I think he would wear Rolando out and get a late TKO stop. We've seen this before with Rolando. I think we can see it again. Who's left? Manny Pacquiao's hanging around. Too small. Floyd Money Mayweather's flirting like he wants to come back like Manny Pacquiao and maybe stick around. I doubt it. So that leaves, Brian Orman Jr.'s out the way. There's no rematch clause for the mandatory, so neither here or there. You do have, oh my gosh, it's slim. I can see a winner between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson jumping up for that weight. Or worst case, Teofimo regardless jumping up to that weight to take off those guys at 147. I think he'll put on this show. But more importantly, I think the biggest threat to the takeover for Devin is a guy who just fought a little bit ago. Hey, Kate, you said, do I think Conor Benn has the top? That's who I'm going in right now. Thank you for saying I'm actually hitting on Conor next. So I think the biggest threat to Devin Haney right now is actually Conor Benn, a guy who just fought at 160, right? Explosive, very explosive, good chin, good boxing technique, and guess what? He himself stays dedicated to the game plan. We've already said it earlier. That's a key to victory, an attribute that most people overlook in the sport of boxing, and that is dedication to a game plan and the mental fortitude to stick to it and execute it, no matter what's going on in that ring. I think Conor, out of all the other guys I just mentioned, stands the best chance to beat Devin. That'll be a damn good fight. I favor Devin for a couple reasons. Number one, Conor hasn't fought at 147 in years. Hasn't fought at 147 in years. I'm interested to see what the weight cut could do to him like it did to Chris Eubank Jr. We've seen what happens when you cut weight too much and you're just at that point where you really can't make it anymore. It does something to you. You look at the legs of Chris Eubank Jr. that last fight. He didn't have it, man. He didn't have it. He was doomed as soon as he walked in that ring, and Conor picked up on it and did what he's supposed to do, a true profession, picked him apart. Pick that man apart. Salute to him. So with that said, I'm interested to see what happens to Conor. Hey, salute to Dwayne. You think Canelo Alvarez is still the face of boxing? I'll talk about that in just a second once we get to this David Benavidez and Brooks Ramirez saga that's going on. Hit that like button. It's free. Comment below. Subscribe. It's got the time for the Sunday podcast. Appreciate that. Love rocking out this afternoon. So I'm interested to see what the weight cut can do to a likes of a Conor Ben. That's my first worry about him coming down, especially if it's the next fight. You've been fighting at 160 these last two, and then you were at 154 right before that, and then a little time off due to the suspension. 147, he can make it. He's got the stature. He's not that big of a guy, but I'm interested to see what it does to his power, his pop, and more importantly to his speed. Because with that, I think Conor has the speed and explosive advantage over Devin Haney. I think Conor has the ability to stop Devin Haney in this case, mainly because obviously Devin is the smaller fighter in this case, and Conor does have decent power, no matter what you want to say about the drug accusations that happened prior to this. He still has good pop, good power, and he's got that speed. But if he doesn't have that coming down from weight, I do worry about it. But let's say we get the best version of Conor. Now that's a good fight. That's pay-per-view worthy. I think they'll both talk up a good scrap, and we'll get a good proper boxing match between two men. I think Conor's the better boxer than anyone we just named. He's better than Ryan Garcia. He's better than Mario Barrios. He's definitely better than Rolando Romero. He's more explosive, poses a bigger threat than maybe Batman Pacquiao, who's sitting out there right now. Obviously, Brian Jr. is gone. Maybe to see a rematch. I don't know. And Teofimo Lopez, pose that much of a threat, but he's a boxing technician himself, especially when he turns it on against competition. With that said, Conor has a good chance to beat a likes of a Devin Dream Haney. But I do see Devin as the favorite in that fight. I see him dedicated to the proper footwork and movement. Conor Ben, I don't think he's seen a guy that can move like Devin. I don't think he's seen a strong jab that the likes of Devin Dream Haney has, and that jab builds up a lot of things. If Devin's defense is tight, I favor him 60-40 to beat the likes of a Conor Ben. But again, that'll be a tight fight, a good fight, and a good pay-per-view. Both men, salute to them. Once they get it on, I believe they will sign that fight. I think they'll both take an interim fight in between, let Conor Ben get a tune-up or a welcome fight back to 147, see how he feels. And then we'll get that Devin Dream Haney smoke later in 2026, probably for unification and potentially undisputed, depending on who Conor steps in there with. I wouldn't mind seeing Conor go on, take Rolando Romero, get that belt, let Devin Dream Haney and Ryan Garcia unify, and then we're headed in the right direction. Right? I believe the IDF is floating out there with another guy on the list, not like that. But it's floating around. But either way, we're heading in the right direction for that proper takeover. So let's wrap up Devin Dream Haney real quick. Due to his mental fortitude, due to his dedication to the sport of boxing, his physicalness as far as being able to keep the same level of output all 12 rounds, stay dedicated to the jab, stay dedicated to the sport, stay dedicated to his craft, I see that man really walking through the division and his best opportunity to come two-time undisputed. I believe the only fighter really standing in his way right now would be a Conor Ben coming down, and depending on what the Ryan Garcia fight looks like. But again, I see them coming better prepared, physically ready, and mentally ready to pick apart Ryan Garcia. Now let's get into the next topic here. As my man Dwayne said, Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. And I agree, he still is the face of boxing. Canelo Alvarez is still probably the most popular fighter out there. Between him, Tank Davis, who is still struggling with his legal issues, and a couple others. But on the rise, there's some new names, some new faces, and one of those is becoming the Mexican monster, David Benavidez and Vendetta Roja. I like David Benavidez. I like what he stands for. I like how he's pushing the envelope of boxing and really getting back to that fighter mentality. Who cares about a loss? Who gives it? We do not care about a loss. And that's how he's moving. We, the fight fans, need to continue to push fighters like this that do not care about losing an oath. All they want is to fight and throw hands and put hands and tasks on somebody else to see if they can beat or overcome the challenge. No cherry picking, no ducking, no dodging. Let's get the fights while they're hot, and let's make sure we get the best product. Now, when they do lose, because if you keep challenging yourself, you will lose. And that's okay. We also got to make the promise to continue to prop them up and support them in their next fight. Shout out to Esau Pitbull Cruz. He's taken a couple of losses, but his fan base is still growing. He's doing great. He's still challenging himself. He's going to get it on with Lamont Roach December 6, 2025. Now let's get back to David Benavidez. Like I said, I like him as a fighter. I like what he's doing. Pushing out, moving up in weight yet again to potentially get this fight with Roberto Zurdo Ramirez. I like the fight. Great damn fight. Salute to that man. Salute to that war. But in the same breath, like we just talked about, those fighters giving us the fights we wanted and that fighting mentality and not afraid to lose that. At this point, I can't say that about Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Right now, he has ducked the likes of Opetaia in a way that I haven't seen a man get ducked. Well, I can't say that. Joseph Parker clearly got ducked by the likes of Danny Dubois, but that's another video. I haven't seen this in the cruiserweight division or lower weights in a long time. Canelo, obviously, at this point, yeah, he ducked David Benavidez himself. But for Ja and Gilberto, this is nasty work. This is nasty work. He said, how would I rank the following? Benavidez better be bettable. Consider Benavidez stays at 175. Bradley, I would say in order. Whew, that's tough because they all got their own attributes. In their current physical form, in their current abilities, I gotta give it to David Benavidez. I think he's the best right now, physically, mentally. I think he's the best prepared 175 pounder right now. The reason I say that is because of this. Bivol just came off of back surgery. Talent wise, I still like Bivol. Doesn't have a lot of pop, a lot of power, but right now, due to that back injury and the surgery that he had to fix his things, I'm not sure what he looks like physically. So I'll put David to beat him. But even without the surgery, I think I would still put David to beat him because him and Bill have a long history of sparring. And rumor has it, David's been getting the best of him for years. I think a guy like David is also a problem for a guy like Biffle, who tends to do very well against guys who don't have a high output, but for those guys that do have high volume and decent power and a reach advantage in this case, he tends to struggle. So I definitely put David over Biffle. Now with Betterby, I'm also going to put him over Betterby because I don't know what version of Betterby we had before. Now the Betterby of Bowl would have been a really tough test for David Benavidez because that power was real. His legs were still strong. The man is 40 plus now, multiple injuries, but more importantly, that last injury to his knee, you can see it did something to his power. And anybody who studies the sport of boxing, power is generated from the legs. And when those legs start to go and start to wilter, so does the power. And I don't think he's generating the same pump that he had. So in his current form, I got Benavidez beating Betterby as well. Now, in order, I got Benavidez 1, I got Bivol number 2, and Betterby number 3, just in the current state that they're in now. Overall, in their career, I probably would still put Betterby probably number 1 when he was in his prime, when he was hitting hard. He had the good leg generation. He was that phenom. He was a hard problem to deal with. I think Benavidez was a good chance of challenging him, but I just don't like what Betterby is right now, just really because it's probably time beats everybody down at some point. And when you start getting knee injuries, it is what it is. Now, with that said, let's get back to that leg generation. Because you did say Canelo Dwayne is a face of box. You can see the same thing happen to Canelo right now, too. He's had a little bit of an issue over the years, too. You can kind of see his power diminishing. His legs are tight. He's not able to move like he used to. Not that he was a fast mover at all. But he's really depending heavily on his feet being planted now to generate any bit of power that he's got. He's still a strong guy, but some of his power is down back as well. So let's get to it. Benavidez, Gilberto Ramirez. I still like the fight, but like we were heading into there, Zurdo has jumped Jai Opetaia. I can still like this fight and still call it down the middle. The disrespect to Jai Opetaia is real. Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, they could have had this fight back in June. Both men were available. They were going through negotiations. It took so long that Ja had to, took a little keep busy fight. Beat my man Claudio from Italy, snapped his jaw. And then Zurdo, in the meantime, made a fight with Dorticos when he said he wasn't available. But actually made that fight with Dorticos under the undercard with Jake Paul. Got a nice victory. So after that, we all assumed that the next thing was Zurdo and Ja. Both men came off of impressive victories, impressive wins. Only for Zurdo to magically get some shoulder surgery after his fight with Dorticos. They never claimed to be injured, post conference, nothing. Looked good, looked great. A few weeks later, now he's getting shoulder surgery. After he faced off with the likes of Jake Paul, you name it, that was kind of a gimmick. But Zurdo magically walks into weeks after the fight, shoulder surgery, never really explained it, just popped up, he got it done. All right, John's back in the waiting again. John looking for another fight, to keep busy so my man Zurdo can come back healthy. That's what they're promised, right? They're going to negotiate this thing and make it happen. Only for David Benavidez to do what he did to the art. Salute to that man, salute to that warrior, Mexican monster. Come out after his destruction of the art to say that he's got a fight signed with Zurdo to go down in May 2026. No word of how Zurdo's been doing. His shoulder recovery has been great. Nothing. The level of disrespect that you took to take on this smaller fighter, mind you, not. You jumped at the chance to take on this smaller fighter, get it set for Cinco de Mayo weekend 2026. But we couldn't get a scrap with Ja for over a year and a half since you've been in the cruiserweight division. So you're willing to take on a guy who moved up from the weight class you came up from and sign that, no problem. In fact, you even went so far that you want to keep busy fight here in January to get prepared for David Benavidez fight in May. Okay, appreciate it. Yeah. Last with Benavidez being done to challenge Ja. I feel David is missing a big win on his resume right now. How good is he? So, I agree. And let's get to that real quick. Number one, I hope David Benavidez beats Gilberto Ramirez. In fact, I expect him to beat Gilberto Ramirez because I think he has a better volume. Both guys throw their hands, by the way. I like the levels of changes that Zurdo's been doing. Malik Scott's got him looking way better, looking good. Both of them got gas. But I think something with that Mexican monster, man, how he is, the ferociousness, and I see what he did to Yard. And don't get me wrong, Gilberto Ramirez is no Yard. And that's no disrespect. I'm picking Benavidez to beat Gilberto due to the fighter mentality. Like we kind of hit on earlier with Devin. I think his mentality is so strong right now, his confidence is so high that he feels no man can beat him. That's what he's going to need to take in the Gilberto Ramirez fight, especially the guy who's going to throw punches back with him, in volume, has a good gas tank on him. I just think the fighter edge goes to David Benavidez. I think he's got the better reach. I think he's got, or obviously has the long reach, but I think he has the better jab. He implemented good body work early on Yard. Shows me that he's learning to be a boxer puncher. That version of Benavidez is hard to beat. I think he's going to go in and box smart and set it up correctly to drive Gilberto in a war that he becomes a true boxer puncher and picks apart Gilberto. Now, with that said, if David Benavidez beats Zurdo, which I expect, would it be stupid for him to fight Ja Opetaia? Possibly. But if anybody's going to fight John Opetaia and give him that scrap, give him that unification that he's looking for, I expect David Benavidez probably that one. He gives me that realness. He gives me that fighter mentality. He gives me that he doesn't give a damn about losing. He has the size to bang out with John Opetaia. He has the output to do it. I think he will do it. Will it be stupid? Only time will tell. I don't think nothing stupid, especially for a man that's challenged himself in his career. I think that'll be a hell of a win for him and put that cap in his win column, that big win, that career-defining win, that greatness type win that he really deserves at this point, because it should have been Canelo. But at this point, I think that would show that he is levels above the men in his era right now. And I think that's the career-defining win he could have, and that's against John Opetaia. I think Roberto Ramirez will set it up just fine. That's a hell of a fighter himself. But him and Ja, I expect that fight to happen if he beats Roberto Ramirez, unless an undisputed bout comes into play after Dimitri Bivol and Beterbiev, rumor gets their third fight out of the way, an opportunity opens up for David to go back to 175 and challenge one of those guys. I can see that happening, but let's say it doesn't. David's right there. He's got the size. He's a big boy, big 175 pounder, obviously moving up to cruiserweight. He weighs 200 pounds plus in a walking day. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's got the fighter mentality. He's got a good chin, and I think he would challenge himself to do that. Appreciate that. Good comment. Good questions on that. Definitely appreciate that. Hit that like button. It's free. Hit that like button. It's free. Comment below. Subscribe if you got the time. Short Cowgirl Signing Podcast. Definitely appreciate that love. Appreciate that love. Give me 1 second to take this phone call. All right, sorry about that. Back to it. So yeah, like I said, I expect Benavidez to do things in that ring that will set him up for greatness, and I think him and Ja Opetaia will be a damn good fight. Now, DeMarcus, you said Biv will beat Zurdo. Fair. So let me make sure you're right. So you're saying since Biv will beat Zurdo, do you think it's going to be easy for Benavidez to beat Zurdo? Let me know. Either way, I still got Benavidez beating Ramirez. I think he's got that fighter edge up on him. Yes, Bill will beat him back in 2022, unanimous decision victory, limited power. But don't get me wrong, that's a different Zurdo back then too. This Zurdo with Malik Scott has improved. I think he's still ripe for the taking for the likes of the David Benavidez. And I still get that fighter edge to David Benavidez to beat him again by unanimous decision victory. I don't see either one of these guys can stop again. It's hard to stop these kind of guys like Gilberto and David Benavidez. They got good chins, good outputs, good tanks on them. You really got to bring some thunderous power to stop them. And to me, that's kind of why I think Gilberto stayed away from the likes of John Opetaia. No disrespect, not saying he's scared, but maybe he is. But right now, he's ducking for sure. That's guaranteed. Whether he's scared or not, that's yet to be seen or proven. But John Opetaia's got that life-changing power. That life-changing power to where I think John, at this point, if he can't get the fights at cruiserweight that he deserves, the unifications, rumor has it Turkey trying to push for at least for the bottom jack unifications to happen. So hopefully that comes through for him. And I feel bad for Bobby, no disrespect. He's another guy fighting for Father Time. And that's a bad situation walking with a John Opetaia fight, but it is what it is. If John can't get those fights that he deserves, I believe it's time to go to heavyweight. He's got the kind of power to bang with those boys. I would like to see Ja go up against a guy like Michael Hunter, a guy that goes from cruiserweight himself to heavyweight's been there for a little while. Get a feel out. Don't go too heavy too early. Get a guy like Michael Hitman Hunter. Justice Mooney be a good fight. That's a good local fight. get introduced to the heavyweight division first, get one or two good scraps, and then start going for the big names, the big guys. He's got good power, good pop, but I think he needs to get obviously adjusted, getting hit from those kind of guys with some big boys, and they pop hard. And obviously weighing up, close to 270s at times, 260 is a norm. Um, you got to be ready to adjust, especially when you be the smaller heavyweight coming into that division. Yes, Zurdo is slow. He's got good output, but he is slow. And that's why I also got David beating him. The output from David comes with speed. Speed is king. Speed is everything. Speed is important in the sport of boxing, and it will separate these two fighters. But yeah, with that said, if Zurdo, I'm sorry, John can get the fights. I see heavyweight in this future. I see heavyweight in this future. Now I'm gonna pose this question. I'll tell everybody, can think about it. Now, how I said Ja can go to heavyweight. What about David? He's already at cruiserweight. I think David can make a move to heavyweight, and would that be detrimental to his career? David obviously to me doesn't have a lot of power, but he's got respectable power, obviously. I'll be interested to see how he look at heavyweight. I think he will end up in heavyweight eventually towards the end of his career. I think he's got a lot of work left to do in 175 to 200 to cap off his career. But let me know how y'all think he will look at the 200 plus pound division with heavyweight guys. You said Yard isn't the same fighter since the Betterby fight. Fair. Honestly, I don't think Yard is the same fighter since losing to Kovalev. I think Kovalev exposed some things against Yard. Yard had a chance to beat Kovalev in that fight if he put his foot on the gas. But it showed his gas tank wasn't there. Kovalev still had some good pop and some good power on him and got Yard out of there with a jab. I think that kind of broke him down and showed that his lack of stamina, that fatigue wore on him. It's always kind of been in the back of him. But you're right, Betterby changes a lot of guys' lives. I don't think any fighter that's lost to Betterby has really come back in full form outside of Bivol. And some people thought Bivol actually won the first fight. I didn't. I had Betterby winning it, but yeah, Betterby was a life-changing kind of guy. I don't think Betterby is the same guy he is anymore since that knee injury and had to have surgery. I think his powers kind of went down a little bit, but then again, maybe it's just Bivol. Bivol's a freaking nature, chin made out of granite, and no give up in him. You said David is too slow for heavyweight. Really? You think David's too slow for heavyweight? I don't know, because the heavyweight division itself is like those guys aren't fast. They're powerful. They're powerful, but slow. Okay, I'll take it. Maybe you're saying the head movement won't be there. I think John's got Opetaia back on him. I think he's got a good enough head movement and definitely quick on the draw with his counter punches to bang it out with those guys. But if you're saying that David doesn't move enough and is there to get hit, I can see that because he doesn't have a lot of head movement. But maybe that's something they can work on. His hand speed is fast, but I can see that. Okay, I respect it. You think he's too slow. His frame doesn't give heavyweight to you. Ja's more potential there. Dream fight could be Ja versus Tomo down the road. Respect, Hayden Rowe. Yeah. That would, Moses Tomo is I think the next face of boxing. Next face of UK boxing for sure. He has the goods. That's a dangerous man right there. Him and Ja will make a classic fight somewhere, I think, in a couple years. I think 2 years at least down the road. Ja's got to definitely get adjusted to go against a guy like Tomo, who does have good speed, quick, smart fighter, good, powerful jab, knows how to go to the body. That overhand right is vicious. I like Moses Tomo, man. He's a solid fighter. I think definitely a couple of years, but that would be a good, nice little ring fight. And they're both not too far off in stature as far as height. Moses Tomo, I think, is 2 inches probably taller. Reach advantage is clearly there. David's feet are too slow. Yard made good shots. That's fair. I give you that. His feet are slow. Usyk is able to win Oh yeah, Usyk is able to win off his movement and is bigger than David. Fair, fair. Because Usyk sits around 6'4", and this is considered a small heavyweight, by the way. Usyk is 6'4", walks around about 220, 225. Um, that's fair, fair assessment. Ja himself, I think Ja's only 6 foot, if I'm not mistaken, right around 6 foot. He's not a tall guy either, maybe 6'2". Um, David Benavidez sits at 6'2". Um, he would be a very small heavyweight. I give you that for his frame. I don't think he holds the weight well. He would just be a heavy guy, kind of like a Andy Ruiz. He gives me Andy Ruiz vibes. How his body would look at heavyweight. Andy in shape for himself, but rounded, not really cut. He did lose some good weight, got his legs stronger, good pop. Andy Ruiz is a talent to me. We're gonna do a where he could have been story one of these days about Andy Ruiz, because he could have been much better than what he is, a greater fighter than what he is. But that's a different story, different take. But I see David's body looking like that, a little rounded, not cut at heavyweight. Potentially probably would be slow. I give you that slower heavyweight. I think we can take some guys though at that weight. Not top tier. I think Ja has the more upward mobility to be possibly a heavyweight champion in this case, due to his power, his athleticism, and his movement. Um, David, but I can't count David out, man. For some reason that guy keeps showing us and showing up that he's a true fighter. He said Usyk wouldn't take him, but Ja could give him problems. Yeah, I think Ja would be a good fight for Usyk. Everybody knows Usyk started at cruiserweight. Again, not a big heavyweight himself. Um, I think him and Ja would be a decent fight, but I would favor Usyk in that one. Usyk, man, is showing me something. Showing me something. His angles are immaculate. His strategy, I mean, he's well prepared for these guys, but his power, deceptive. Yeah, this guy's not a knockout artist, but he's a stop you kind of guy. Yeah, he breaks these guys down. He's got good pop, good power. He's hurt pretty much everybody he's been in the ring with in the heavyweight division. His athleticism is amazing. His mental awareness is amazing as well. I think Ja and him would be a good fight, but I definitely favor Usyk, and that'd be a tough out for Ja. Really, Usyk's a tough out for anybody. He's going to go down as one of the greatest to do it. Definitely one of the greatest in the heavyweight division. Salute to that man. Um, I still wish he would have gave Joseph Parker his just due and just fight before the Fabio Wardley fight. Parker was winning that Fabio Wardley fight, man, and just that's what happens, man. Heavyweight division, one punch can change everything. And Fabio Wardley's got some freaking nature power. He just like a Deontay Wilder. Maybe not as a hardest puncher, but to me, it's very similar. Um, Losing a fight, but can turn it around with one good punch, and then those two men are never out to that bell rings or till they're down on the canvas. Speaking of Fabio, I think they're setting it up for Fabio and Moses Thomas to get it on next year, by the way. I can see the writing on the wall. Frankie Warren, Queensberry promotion. I can definitely see them pushing for that scrap. Letting Moses Thomas get his shot at his first title contention and becoming that face of UK boxing. And I think most of the time will pick apart a guy like Fabio Wardley. No disrespect. Fabio was losing that fight to Joseph Parker until he got that clip in. I think a guy like Moses Thomas was sharp, fast, got good power in both hands, really would do some damage to the likes of Fabio. With that said, I think a good fight like Fabio Wardley and Ja will be good. That'll be a good, entertaining fight. Even him and David at that point will be an entertaining fight. Fabio's not the best boxer, best polished boxer coming in so late into the game, but his power will make the fight always interesting. His ability to never give up will make any of those fights interesting. So imagine David at heavyweight versus the Derek Chisora that Usyk fought. That'd be a good fight. That'd be a good fight. I think David is fast enough with his hand speed to make Derek Chisora honest, if that makes sense. I don't think Derek will walk through him, but Derek definitely has the power to stop him. Um, that'll be a good 50-50 fight, honestly. Derek or Chisora, and in that version, I'm specifically that version, that'll be a good fight. If anybody gets stopped, Derek stops Navidez probably pretty early, before round 5 or 6. If it goes any further, we all know Chisora, even that version, that man tires out, but he never gives up. He will probably get a late TKO stoppage or a unanimous decision victory in favor of Dave Benavidez. That would be a good fight, though. A fun fight, anyways, while it lasts. Hit that like button, it's free. Hit that like button, it's free. Comment below, subscribe. And it's your boy Casual Sunday Podcast. We're just rocking out. Again, we're gonna get back to doing these live, just live fight talks, man. Do more of these lives. Obviously, check out our other videos. We got plenty of content out there, plenty of breakdowns. We got 3-minute fight drills, 3-minute fight breakdowns, casual flows. We do a lot. We do a lot of fight commentaries, a lot of fight chats already. But now this is the next step for us. I think setting up a steady flow of just live shows, man. The interact, talk, exchange, ideas, exchange thoughts about boxing where we're at, especially when we combine multiple topics together instead of just doing multiple videos. Hey, we just do a big live, talk to everybody, and break it down. I definitely appreciate y'all rocking out with us today. Hit that like button, it's free. Comment below, subscribe if you got the time. We're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be right back, but definitely keep it going. All right. We're back. Real quick. We're gonna do a couple more minutes, man, and we'll get up out of here. Maybe do a nighttime show. I appreciate everybody for rocking out, man. Hit that like button, it's free. Hit that like button, it's free. Comment below. It's your boy Casual Sunday Podcast. We appreciate y'all for rocking out with us today. We're making this thing happen. We're gonna get back to a steady schedule of live. But either way, check out our other videos, other fight breakdowns. We got a lot of things that just dropped. We always talk about the Devin situation from Opetaia. And I'm sorry, yeah, Opetaia getting ducked by the person who hears. We'll break that down, check out that video. But with that said, let's get back into the topic at hand. And I saw my man, you dropped a question in there about Mr. Kenny Bradley dropped a question there about what's next for Bud Crawford, right? Rumor, and check it, shut up, Tracker Beef. That is correct. Rumor has it. The next thing for Bud may be that rematch with Canelo Alvarez. Now, I know many people are thinking, why the rematch? We saw what happened. We saw this guy jump up 2 weight classes and really put a boxing lesson on Canelo Alvarez. And salute to Canelo Alvarez because, like my man earlier said, Canelo is still the face of boxing. Yeah, he took a loss. He took a couple losses career now, but still the face. Because see, being the face doesn't mean you have to be undefeated. Being the face means you just got to put on great fights, great shows, have a face, have a name, have a brand. And that's what Canelo Alvarez has. Like, that's on the other group. That's on yeah. Have the face. Hey, I'll help you get those ones. Good. Sure. All right. You gotta have a face, gotta have a name, gotta have a branding, right? And that's why you gotta get yourself out there and promo yourself. Make sure you have the look that accompanies your skill set. Skills pay the bills. So you gotta have skills first. Can't just have, can't just talk and look good. You won't last. But if you have the skills to pay the bills and the talent, well, if you combine that with promo and carrying yourself right, you will make a lot of money in this sport, win, lose, or draw. You can take these kind of risks that Canelo has taken. Again, yes, he did Benavides. I got it. With that said, why is this rematch coming between Bud Crawford and Canelo Alvarez? It's simple. It's because Canelo Alvarez, no matter what you think about him, what you want to say about him, he is a fighter. That man has a true fighting spirit. No matter what you want to say about him and Dave Benavides, and I'm one of the people that says it's nothing. But one thing's for certain, 2 things for sure. Canelo Alvarez always wants his hit back. When he lost to Devin, he begged for that rematch. He wanted it. He wanted that rematch, but Bivol didn't give it to him because Bivol had other things going on and wanted to take on and challenge the likes of Archer Benavides, which ended up being 2 good rematches, or 2 good matches with a rematch, and potentially a trilogy. Bivol had things to do, but Canelo begged for that fight, even though he got beat, almost outclassed. Not as bad as what Crawford did. To me, Crawford put on a better display, but Canelo wanted it, and here's why. And the same reason he wants this Bud Crawford rematch now. For the first time in Canelo's career, he really doesn't understand why he lost to another fight. For the first time in his career, he's been humble. For the first time in his career, he had to sit back and absorb the fact that another fighter was truly better than him. See, when he fought Floyd for the first time and got beat, the reason was, and it's a good reason, he was young, green. Floyd picked him just right and picked him apart. So in the back of Canelo's head, that's the reason. He needed more growth and maturity. And sure enough, he grew throughout his career, becoming the face that he is now. Fast forward to the Bivol loss. He lost because he believed he was injured, which he did have surgery after that. But more importantly, he's a bigger fighter as well. He moved up and challenged himself. You can hear him say that on multiple interviews. Hey, I challenged myself for greatness and did what I had to do. Got that surgery, came back, and went on another tear. No one beats this Canelo. You remember that? After he beat the likes of Jamel Charlo and then beat the Haney Medias and Alongas of the world. No one beats that Canelo, is what he said. He had that surgery, felt good, felt great, felt confident. That's the reason he lost the business. But for the first time in his career, when he took on the likes of Terrence Bill Crawford, there's no reason. This man jumped up 2 weight classes. You're not injured, you're healthy. He did have little minor surgeries after that to fix a couple of things, but that's not the reason. Canelo Alvarez graciously admitted Terrence Bill Crawford was the better fighter. For the first time in his career, he had no answer. For the first time in his career, he had a proper challenge that he had in his mind. At least he captured it as, now I have to do something. Now I have to improve my game. Now I have to improve my game. Now I see something. He's probably sat back now these last few weeks and watched the tape and watched where he made some errors in it. Now he finally realizes that he can't be the Canelo he's always been, high guard, plotting in front, trying to pressure the guy. He now knows and now clearly understands that he has to adapt to certain fighters. Now he knows he needs to adjust and elevate himself. And that's the fighter spirit, because now he wants to challenge himself to see if he can actually elevate his talent, adjust his game plan, reinvent himself to beat a guy like Terrence Crawford, who's going down as one of the greatest to do. Uh, and that's fair, Big Dean. You're right. Canelo's team did push for the Floyd fight, but we know what Floyd did. Uh, let's keep it real. Floyd took that fight because he knew what he was doing. Agreed, but respect. Um, Canelo now, this is the challenge. This is the reason he wants to do it. That fighter mentality, that fighter spirit. He wants to get that get back. He wants to challenge himself. Any real fighter out there looks for that type of challenge in his career to that marquee stance that says, can I actually do this? For the first time in Canelo's career, I don't think he's sure that he can actually beat Crawford or beat a man like Crawford, because he's always in trouble with him. Everybody always said guys like Ford, guys that can box, guys that can move, guys that can throw decent shots will always be Canelo. Well, now he understands that he just ran into another guy that's an emulation of a type of Ford. Different fight, way different fight than Terrence Crawford, but you get what I'm saying, that type of style. Can he actually do it? That's what Canelo's thinking right now. That's why he wants to rematch. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll be big money in the rematch, another payday. But he's already locked in on the contract for the season, so he doesn't necessarily have to take the risk of getting beat twice back to back by Crawford. The real reason he's in there the second time, or rumor has it, negotiating for this rematch, is simply because there's no excuses. Simply because now this is a proper challenge to himself as a man and as a fighter to finally listen to the criticism over the years and change his game plan, change how he's been fighting, adjust and adapt to a different type of fighter, and come in with something new and challenge himself to see if he can do it. That is why Canelo's doing this fight. Salute to him. Still plays a boxing. Doesn't have to do it. I think it's risky. You're probably going to get beat twice by Terrence Crawford, because I saw nothing in that fight in September that spoke to me that Canelo can actually beat a Terrence Crawford. Not that version of Terrence Crawford. Unless Terrence ages overnight, yeah, he's 38. No, wait. Yeah, I think Terrence is about 37. Yeah, he's 38. Will be 39 next year. So unless something dramatically happens and Father Time does its magic, I don't see it. And more importantly, Canelo's legs are getting weaker and weaker, like we talked about earlier. The likes of Beterbiev, learn from him. When your legs start going, the power starts going. And you got to change your game. You got to elevate and find a different way to win than just power. Can Canelo do it? Possibly. But I see a repeat and another unanimous decision victory. It may be even worse if Canelo doesn't change his style, if Canelo does not elevate, and does not adapt and be flexible for a rematch with Terrence Crawford. It may be the first stop in his career, and I hate to even say that, because Canelo's got not stop. It could be the first pure knockdown in his career. I can't see Canelo do stop. I just can't fathom it. Shannon made a freaking grand. Yeah, I can't do that. I can't see that. Anyways, that's what's rumored to happen for next for Canelo. My honest opinion, I think Canelo should take a May or post-May keep busy fight, a fight that he can work on moving his feet, uh, work with some new things. I'm not saying get a new trainer, but they might need to bring somebody else in that camp that can help him with his movement and cutting off the ring. And he's got good head movement. He can slip shots. He's pretty good at that, but his footwork, it needs some work. And that old dog treating, teaching new tricks, that old thing that's kept him going. That's what made him the face of boxing. I know it's tough for him to change it, but it's at this time they need a strong trainer, a co-trainer come in there and teach him some things that he can actually do, not try to rework him, but actually a smart trainer that can use what he's got now and build upon it. Hit that like button, this free comment below, and subscribe if you got the time. And we appreciate y'all rocking out this afternoon. Again, impromptu live. We're gonna go back to doing some standard live scheduled shows, man. We appreciate y'all rocking out, man. Hit that like button, it's free. We do this as a hobby. We love the sport of boxing, helping us grow, helping us continue to move. We appreciate that love, appreciate that support. Small channel going quick, we're going fast, man. Check out our other videos. Really appreciate that love and support as always. So last thing we want to do before we go. And shout out to everybody as Thanksgiving is approaching. I hope you're taking that time to relax and chill. We're going to continue to talk about this boxing. But as we wrap it up before we go, Devin Dream Haney, the takeover. For those that missed it. We got Devin Dream Haney taking over 147-pound division, really because the lack thereof talent, that's one. But more importantly, it's his proven ability to stick to the game plan. The mental fortitude to stick to instruction and execute instruction in that ring. That is a true talent that we always overlook. That's an attribute that we, as fans and fighters, overlook the importance of mental fortitude. It's 80% mental, 20% physical. If the man is physically strong, he will become a great. A guy that can stay dedicated to the game plan, dedicated to the sport, and mentally focused in that ring is what separates a good fighter from a great fighter. That's what separates a man that just depends on his physical attributes to a guy that can become great and exploit and really hone in his skills as a great his physical attributes to be a great fighter. Being able to be focused in that ring, stick to the game plan, and more importantly, having a strong team, that like Devin the Dream Haney has, is important. That team is well prepared, well rounded, and got him prepared. Yeah, he lost, quote unquote, lost, even though it went away to the likes of Ryan Garcia, but we know what happened there. Austin. So the man was kind of cheated out of that, but more importantly, he came for a boxing match, and his opponent came for a fight, weighing in 3 pounds heavier. Came in the freshest version of himself. To me, that's what weighed in the most. To me, that's what played most in that. Whereas Devin Dream Haney thought his boxing match was sucked him down to that 140 limit. Could have been stronger for that fight. I don't think they'll make that same mistake again. Obviously, at 147, he was looking strong, looking sharp, beating the likes of Brian Jr., knocking him down the second round and staying dedicated to that game plan and not getting blinded by, the natural instinct of going for the kill, because he could have got clipped. Brian Newman Jr. could have went in there and clipped him. A wounded fighter is a dangerous fighter, especially when it's got power and a good hook and a good counter. Stay dedicated, understood instruction, and executed it perfectly. That is why I got him taking over the 147-pound division. I think the person that would give him the biggest challenge is a Conor Ben if he moves down. I think Conor Ben has the explosiveness. I think Conor Ben has the same type of dedication to the sport. Yes, he had some allegations in the past, but was cleared. My worry about Conor Ben is coming back down to 147. How will that look? You've seen what it did to the likes of a Chris Eubank Jr. and getting back down to a weight you have fought can do to you. Will he have that same pop, that same energy, that same explosiveness that can give him the edge against a guy like Devin Dream Haney? Either way, to me, that's the best part that they can make. I think that's the toughest challenge if Conor really comes down to 147. All the rest of them are either too slow or don't have the right strategy or dedication to stick to their game plans to really pick apart a guy like Devin. I just can't see it. Got a strong jab. And again, got a heart. Got knocked down 4 times. Got a skills is there. His skills paid the bills. Roberto Zurdo Ramirez clearly ducked the likes of Devin, David Benavidez, and damn, that's that all up. Roberto Ramirez clearly ducked the likes of Opetaia for a David Benavidez fight, a guy moving up from 175 to 200. We've seen what has happened. We have seen what is going on. So when you're injured magically, but come out of that injury and sign up for a smaller fighter immediately for a single of my plans. Don't get me wrong, it's a big money fight. And don't get me wrong, I like David Benavidez. And don't get me wrong, again, I really like this fight. I think it's going to be a good scrap. It's going to be a good war. I still like this fight. It's going to be a good scrap, a good war. But, but I can't overlook the disrespect to Opetaia, a man who deserves his, should have gotten his, and really deserves that unification. Really deserves his shot at potentially undisputed. Hopefully, Turkey comes through and gives him that body jack fight so he can unify there, take that belt, and hopefully get David Benavidez once he beats Roberto Ramirez. David Benavidez showing that he's a true fighter, true warrior, ready to take on anybody. Of course, there's things to do at 175 if Dimitri Bivol better be 3 goes down. You may get that winner potential shot at undisputed at 175. But neither here nor there. David hopefully beats Zurdo and John gets his shot at unification and undisputed at crucial. We appreciate everybody for rocking out. It's obviously time for us to get things wrapped up as the family's moving around and getting going. It is Thanksgiving week. Salute to y'all. Blessings. Take care of yourself. Hit that like button. It's free. Comment below. Subscribe. We will be back. We might do a night show or something tomorrow. Again, we're going to get more consistent on these lives, and we appreciate you for rocking out with us. Appreciate you for showing us some love. Small channel going quickly, going fast. Check out our other channels. Or check out our other videos. And always appreciate that love. Until the next time. Peace. Yo, Sportcast Real Sunday podcast, man. One last thought before we get up out of here. This fight, Cinco de Mayo, David Benavidez, Vendetta Roja, and the likes of Roberto Zurdo Ramirez. Before we get up out of here, the last thought we were thinking of before we get up out of here. How big of a fight is this? How big of a fight is Roberto Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez? Was it worth the ducking of Opetaia for Roberto Ramirez? Is it really that big of a payday? Is it really that big of a fight? In our opinion, I think it is. I think it's a big fight. I still don't agree with the ducking from the likes of Roberto Ramirez. But what I will say is, I think it is going to be an all-out war, an all-out slugfest between these two men. And I apologize, I forgot to break that down about how the fight would look itself. I did say things big when this will win this fight, but as far as the magnitude, being Cinco de Mayo, May 2026, actually May 2nd, 2026 to be exact, we do believe this will be a true war, true scrap. Something that's worth seeing, probably pay-per-view. Obviously, probably would be pay-per-view for the way the sport of boxing is going. But I do see a proper challenge, a proper event, proper violence being displayed between these two men. Again, I got David winning that fight. Speed is king. I think he's got the better, faster hands. Both of them got good chins on them. Both of them got that gas things. I really think that speed will help. And this new David Benavidez that's actually starting to go to the body with the jab, using the reach, becoming a boxer puncher, will take this fight away. But again, with the magnitude of this fight, I really see it being large. If it's pay-per-view, I see a couple 100,000 worth of buys, probably 500,000 or so. Making it'll probably be a business success. It'll be better if not on pay-per-view, get more eyeballs and still get more eyeballs in Benavidez specifically. But with that said, anyways, the magnitude of the fight, we think it will be big. I'm not sure it's big enough to duck Opetaia, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, that was our quick take back. I'm just getting up out of here. Even for real this time, man. It's your Forecast Real Sunday podcast. Hit that like button. It's free. Comment below. Subscribe if you got the time. Appreciate the love. Until the next time. Peace.